Matilda May, Nancy Paul, Peter Firth, Patrick Stewart. A doomed European Space Agency shuttle mission to observe Halley's Comet, bringing back something horrific found from on an extraterrestrial ship in the comet's trail, bringing to Earth this incredibly dark, evil, wicked, horrific, legendary threat to human civilization. This is a little bit of everything. It's 1985, Lifeforce. The novel being initially called The Space Vampires, that title was not used for the film. Obviously, I think correctly, the studio felt like that title would make it sound like a low-budget sort of feature, not unlike ones they themselves had made previously. Lifeforce carries a very science fiction sort of connotation, and that is one of the things that the movie Lifeforce is. And I say one of the things. There's all sorts of genre-bending stuff in this film. It is about space vampires, or vampires as we know them from legend turned out to be from space. The European Space Agency shuttle at the beginning finds an extraterrestrial ship. They find these humanoid bodies sealed in these sort of crystal coffins. They bring them aboard, and of course the next thing we find, just like the novel Dracula, the ship coming into port with everybody dead and slamming into the shore, turning loose the forces of darkness it brought with it to merry old England from Transylvania. We find that the shuttle is drifting back into Earth orbit, and a rescue shuttle, the American shuttle Columbia, is sent up to rescue, finds evidence of a fire, finds the crystal coffins, brings them to Earth, and now the cycle is complete. Dracula is in England. Earth is infected with the space vampires. We find out as the creature becomes awake and sucks literally the life force out of someone, stealing his energy, turning him in also to a vampiric creature that must absorb other beings' life force cyclically every couple of hours or turn to dust, just like being stabbed with a stake through the heart in mythology, which will also turn out to be leaded steel and a sword, and 2 inches below the heart, because after all, the mythology got it a little bit wrong, and this is science fiction, except it is also horror. It is also vampires. When London becomes infected with the life force contagion, the plague, people hobble around like zombies, desperately seeking anyone they can suck the life energy out of. And so our film is really well done science fiction, especially at the beginning. Some of the really good special effects for 1985, the giant alien starship, the bat-like creatures that inhabit it that are in some sort of suspended animation or dead, it's not clear at the beginning. The beings in the crystal coffins, the comet, the shuttle, all of that is really, really neat sci-fi. Then suddenly we have energy vampires. I thought of there was an episode of Buck Rogers like that long ago. The energy vampires are on the loose. They even go to the cathedral. She, the female vampire, uses the cathedral as her center point to be veering human soul energy into space to the giant ship, which turns out to be a collector. We don't see them, but we get the idea that the bat creatures, which are the real form of the vampires, the ones that are not the conduits for the energy, were really asleep. They're receiving this energy now into their ship, being recharged, while zombies stumble around London. And because one of them was killed with the leaded steel sword 2 inches below the heart, we finally see our British protagonist pull the sword out of the body, and there's like a clap of thunder and a flash of light, and it falls into immediate desiccation. And you can't help but marvel at the fact that he's at a chemist's lab where the chemist discovered that this worked. While the chemist was, you kind of have alchemy. You really have Merlin discovers the secret of the sword. He puts it in this creature, and our hero pulls it out, and it's very much reminiscent of the sword and the stone, and he takes it to the cathedral to do in the aliens. The ending is very bizarre. The American who was infected while in space has a certain connection now with the female alien. He has gone to the cathedral. They are embracing, they are kissing. There is this whole, will he go with her? And it's not really clear in the final moment when the sword is taken by him and put through both her and himself while they're embraced. And that breaks the energy beam. They disappear and the ship goes out into space. Seemingly, what he did broke the beam and now they are leaving, but that doesn't say that they can't recharge again. They seem to be recharged now. Will they return to the comet tail and rejoin us and drain some of us again in the future? Or will they now go further out into space and find other life forms to drain? All in all, I really liked this film. It did not do well at the box office. It sort of became a cult classic later. But I enjoy that it's brave enough to cross genres. It does a little bit of everything at the same time. These are the years after Alien and the sci-fi horror thing, but by making it vampires, it's almost a little more cheesy. It doesn't capture the weird drooling splatter of an alien movie. It's not a horror movie like that of people being butchered, although there is some graphic imagery and humans becoming desiccated. But it's not, it sort of leans towards aliens, but it's not aliens. It is sort of the black hole, but it is clearly not the black hole. Everything about it is sort of a mixture and a hodgepodge, and yet it comes together in the end as a complete narrative and really as a standalone film. I really love it. I think it's its own unique work of art. I doubt you could ever do anything quite like it again. I'm glad that it has a cult following. I'm glad that it's the only one as of now. And please, Hollywood, there's no need to reboot it. It's fine the way it is. Let me know what you think. Lifeforce.